Yes, well, we've actually come out onto the circuit now. We're at the exit of the pit lane here at the Circuit de Catalunya in Barcelona, and I'm very pleased to say Martin Brundle's joined me to talk me through this. Martin, 2.5 days to go, and those teams have to be ready to be on the grid in Melbourne. It's a very crucial time.
Well, they've got to set their cars up and understand how they work, and they're looking for reliability, of course. They need to finish the Grand Prix to get some points. But now we're starting to see some of the process of the weekend, some housekeeping going on as well. You can see down the right-hand side of the pit lane there, lots of black marks from tyre rubber where they do numerous practice starts. Every time they come out of the pits, basically, they'll be stopping there, doing a bite point find on the clutch to set that system up, and whatever new system they've got, the double clutch, or however they get their cars away, out onto the racetrack. We've seen lots of pit stop practice as well, haven't we, through this morning, as the teams get their new systems or try to really fine-tune their pit stops.
But we've also seen a lot of red flags, a lot today. These are the upgrades they're bringing. They're trying things out. Things aren't working. Is that the situation we're at?
Well, a Formula 1 car is a living prototype, and that goes for the whole season, not just for testing. And so you're all, you know, a team might build 5 cars in total in a whole year. And so whenever you step over the side of a Formula 1 car, you're a test driver in the extreme, and they break down. You know, there'll be pieces on that fail, the electronics or something in the engine. We saw Michael Schumacher have a very weird one on the outside of turn 5. Looks like the engine was pushing on or something, because you couldn't really go off there if you tried as a driver making a mistake. But this is where they want the cars to break down. If they can find a weakness, they'll be pushing them hard around here and not changing parts to see how long, what their life is. What they also need to do is a run-out test on their brand new fuel tanks to see, will it pick up the last dregs of the fuel tank. So sometimes towards the end of say a morning session, they will go out and intentionally run out of fuel, which will cause a red flag, of course.
Yes, we saw some of that yesterday, in fact, as well. But we're here at the start-finish straight now, and this particular track, obviously the Grand Prix is here in May, but what will this track in particular show the teams? What will they learn from this track?
Well, it's a track very dependent on temperature, and you go much slower often when you come back here for the Grand Prix, because it gives up, especially early in the morning, the track gives more grip, you've got cool air. So the lap times, in comparison to what they'll do here in the race, are completely irrelevant. But what's good about Barcelona is it's got very long corners. And so a car, you can chase a car and you can sort of manhandle a car through a shorter corner at high speed, but the long corners really test the aerodynamics and the stability of those aerodynamics and the downforce of the car and the suspension setup. So it's a good track in that respect, but it's very punishing on the tyres.
Well, just finally, if we can finish off with the timers from this morning, Verne and Toro Rosso has topped the times at the end of the day. Anything you've seen today that's surprised you? I mean, we've seen Lewis Hamilton down in 6th, but we don't know what McLaren are trying at the moment, or whether or not it doesn't look like they've got all their upgrades here yet.
I haven't really seen too much that surprised me at all, other than, you know, when you get out on the track and just see how some of the drivers are fighting. You have to be careful they're not on a very used set of tyres. And I've been in the paddock most of the morning, and for sure, the teams don't know where they're all at. They're really confused. They know it's close. And you say, yeah, but you've got the sound analysis, you've got the 200-metre loop data, you can tell us. And they said, well, the margin of error on those sort of calculations, it's so close, we don't really know. So I've just been in the paddock more. I'm more interested in talking to the teams and understanding how they're, because they won't forget what they learned last year on the gases coming out of the exhaust, and they're still trying to, as much as they can under the new regulations, test those new systems out, and are they working, and have they got fundamental reliability? Where do they think they are in the pack? I think that's far more important than a list of, you've got to remember, it's just a snapshot of one fast lap. It doesn't tell you the story of the long runs.
All right, well, thank you very much for joining us. We do have to get off the track because they will be underway again shortly for the afternoon session, day 2 of the final winter testing session here in Barcelona. Join us later for more.